Hello, and welcome to today's webinar. Thank you for joining us. Whether you're here for some tech insights or just to escape your inbox or your Teams calls for an hour, we're glad you made it. So today's session is going to be about building a foundation, not just for IT, but for innovation, resilience, and long-term growth. Think of it less as tech talk and more future-proofing your business without any headaches. Okay, so let's quickly explain what we're going to cover today. We'll start looking into why it is more important to understand the need to modernize and stay competitive. And based on some key drivers, we will show you what solutions are possible to prepare and build a strong technology-based business foundation with your strategy in mind. According to an SMB study, 69% of SMBs state that technology has become part of how their business competes. And we're seeing like even more important with AI in the mix as well. And most importantly, we'll talk about how this can be done. So that same SMB study also revealed that 54% of business owners and decision makers in SMBs find it hard to stay up to date with the technology, and they also struggle to know what to invest in. So this is why we'll cover how we, as your Microsoft partner, can help you with this and take on much of the burden for you and the hard work to guide and land you to where you need to be. Okay, so we're going to focus entirely on why, and so why cloud modernization is not just going to be a technical upgrade, but a strategic move to future-proof your business and your position for this opportunity. So here I'd like to emphasize that to achieve the AI-ready goal, it's crucial to establish a strong IT foundation that supports innovation and scalability. So this is going to involve ensuring that your infrastructure is secure and capable of handling the demands of AI technologies. And by focusing on building a secure and scalable foundation, you can enable that bold innovation and position your organization to leverage AI effectively. Okay, so let's take a look at the opportunity AI presents, not just as a technology, but as a powerful driver of business transformation. So AI is reshaping how organizations operate. It's redefining business processes, reinventing how we engage with customers and prospects, enriching employee experiences, and accelerating innovation by enabling the delivery of new products and services with greater speed and impact. So the scale of this shift is quite significant. According to the IDC, companies across Europe are projected to invest over £120 billion into AI and Gen AI by 2028. We've already seen this week, or this month, I should say, how Microsoft have announced in the UK alone they're going to be investing tens of billions in cloud and AI-ready infrastructure. So organizations are going to have the infrastructure and the platform they need to then go and roll out these AI tools. So I guess the question is, are you ready for this new industry landscape and related opportunities? Because chances are your peers and your competitors will be and are already sort of starting to explore this technology. So the essence of this slide really is to highlight that the business environment is evolving rapidly. Within probably just a few years, the conditions under which you operate are going to look very different. So this is a good moment to reflect. Is your company prepared to thrive in a digitally redefined market? Right, so let's take a moment to focus on your business and your goals, challenges, and how you're preparing for what's next. So what we're about to talk through are some of the most common priorities we hear from leaders at businesses like yours. So some of these may feel especially relevant to your organization, others perhaps less so, but that's obviously going to be fine. As we go through them, I encourage you to make quick mental checklists of the ones that resonate. So we'll circle back to those later in conversation. But first is going to be business growth and cost efficiency. So that's all about managing rising costs while staying innovative and secure. We know that's no small task. It's not just about cutting expenses. It's about making smarter investments simplifying your IT landscape and continuing to deliver, those great experiences and products and services to your customers. Next is going to be AI readiness. So this isn't just about adopting new tools, it's about shifting from large upfront capital expenses to more flexible, scalable models that align with your business needs. So it's about being ready to use AI in ways that are both cost effective, yet that's still impactful. And then now is going to be agility. So in today's environment, speed is critical, but so is control. So the ability to scale your infrastructure and also scale your workloads is going to be really important to keeping your data protected. And that's what's going to set agile businesses apart as well. And finally, security. So a strong modern foundation is going to be essential. So that means updating legacy systems, safeguarding your data, building a platform that can support the next wave of innovation. You're going to have more security, and you're also going to be more confident in that as well. Then there's obviously, things that just aren't IT considerations. They're going to be things like strategic business imperatives. And by focusing on them, you're not just preparing for AI, you're positioning your organization to lead in a market that's evolving fast. So as we continue, think about which of these priorities matter most to your business right now and which ones you'd like to explore further. Okay, so let's focus in on a few that almost always surface at the top when we have these discussions. So referring back to insights from the PwC, market pressure is high. To face or pass it, new technology-based solutions are needed to advance and stay relevant. New and more in-depth regulations, as well as increased threats from cyber attacks, cannot be denied and are most likely on your radar. There is a lot that you can do to protect your business from cyber attacks and any related damage, as well as from risk of non-compliance and not complying with regulations. So there are many factors that have to be on your mind when thinking of cybersecurity or compliance. And as there is strong pressure on cyber attack side, there are new or refined regulatory requirements that come into place that need to be dealt with as well. But there's also a lot of solutions, probably better solutions that help you better navigate or provide a stronger foundation. And we'll talk about this in a bit, but also how Microsoft is leveling up protection on cybersecurity and the compliance side as well, just to make it less complicated and also provide a more tailored approach to deal with topics like sovereignty, which we'll discuss shortly in the next few slides. And of course, cost, or better said, profitability. This will improve if you can better manage your costs. Both of these are going to help organizations stay resilient and relevant in business as well. And just going back to data sovereignty, this may be on the top of your mind due to increasing regulatory pressure. So things such as GDPR and the EU Data Act, which mandate strict control over where and how data is stored and processed. Additionally, there are concerns over reliance on non-EU cloud providers. So there's driving a push for greater control and localization of data to protect, customer trust and business continuity. So Valto, as a Microsoft partner, we have the advantage of being able to step in, with a number of different measures that can help. So, we can offer EU-based cloud infrastructure through Microsoft Azure. So that includes including the EU Data Boundary Initiative, which ensures customer data is stored and processed within the EU, aligning with GDPR and other local regulations. And then we can also provide compliance tools and certifications. So just, Microsoft Purview, the Compliance Manager, these are all great tools that are going to help SMBs manage that data governance, risk and regulatory requirements, a lot more efficiently. So let's take a quick look at why building a resilient business matters, especially for growing companies navigating constant change, where resilience is key to not only surviving but thriving. So building a resilient business is crucial for navigating constant change, especially for small and growing companies. So I'll list off a few key challenges and opportunities which we can go through. So some of the challenges are going to be economic pressure and changing market conditions. So businesses face significant economic challenges and must adapt to changing market conditions just to remain competitive. The next is going to be changed customer behavior. So understanding and meeting the evolving customer needs is going to be essential. And a really important one is solid growth and profitability. Achieving consistent growth and profitability can be really challenging in a dynamic environment. And then we touched on it before, but just the new regulatory requirements and compliances with new regulations is going to be necessary to avoid the legal and the financial risks that we're going to be posed with. And then technical debt, so modernization of legacy systems. Modernizing outdated systems is going to be crucial for improving efficiency and reducing that technical debt. And then also attractiveness for talent. So attracting and retaining top talent is going to be vital for your business success. So look at some of the opportunities. Flexibility and adaptability. So building a business that is flexible and ready to adapt change is going to be crucial for long-term success. Eliminating that technical debt, which we mentioned before, so modernizing those legacy systems and is going to improve efficiency and reduce cost. And then leveraging AI, so using AI to reshape processes, gain those insights and enhance customer interfaces is going to drive innovation and growth. And then understanding your customer needs, so better understanding and meeting customers' needs and expectations, again, will just enhance that customer satisfaction and customer loyalty as well. I think by addressing these challenges and then leveraging these opportunities, we as a partner can help you build resilience and position yourself for success. Okay, so everyone's favorite topic, security. So cyber criminals, and we use this word specifically because they are criminals, are getting smarter by making cyber threats more complex and harder for small businesses just to manage on their own. So every day we're reading about cyber attacks, that hit organizations of all shapes and sizes, and the level of cyber threats is not going to decrease either. So we'll increase. So we need to keep strengthening, our levels of protection to help SMBs, navigate through the complex security risks. And regulators are also seeing this as well. So they're putting more protection actions in place to safeguard, European businesses. We're seeing these on national level and also, or even, geographical level as well. Many of these regulatory activities also include, cyber security as priority. So the EU has set up NIS2, which we've already spoken to quite a few customers around as well. This is obviously going to make businesses in Europe safer and more protected. And it gets deeper with more specific regulations for selected industries. So the finance industry, for example, is going to have the Cyber Resilience Act, that covers their vertical. And then non-compliance is becoming more and more risky. So companies and individuals as well, we're seeing, so CEOs, CFOs, boards, non-exec directs, they can all be heavily fined if there's any non-compliance or incidents. And additionally, and it may be even more important, penalties are going to inhibit, doing business with your clients. So we're even seeing smaller companies that are part of supply chain, with bigger companies being impacted as a result. We're also seeing tenders or RFPs requiring the meeting of certain cyber security accreditations, or even like sustainability requirements could also be showstoppers as well. I think we get support requests every day to help customers with security audits and security questionnaires. Going forward, lack of compliance is going to put you at risk of missing out on certain business opportunities if you're able to demonstrate meeting these conditions. Looking into market research, we see 73% of SMBs seeing cybersecurity as a top priority, and 40% of cyber incidents a strong business risk. But there's also a 24% stake of businesses who feel challenged in attaining this compliance state as well. And the lack of compliance and weak cybersecurity, don't just risk fines; they can lead to costly downtime, data loss, and damage to customer trust and reputation and brand. Okay, so we've looked at why cloud modernization is important for strategic building. The next part of the presentation, we're going to look at what solutions are possible to prepare and build a strong technology-based business foundation for your strategy. Okay, so it's essential for every company, regardless of industry, to stay relevant. That means staying top of mind, not just for your customers and prospects, but also for your employees and shareholders. In today's world, staying relevant and resilient is increasingly tied to becoming an AI-enabled organization. As we discussed earlier, many businesses have already started down this path, and for good reason. So AI is changing how business gets done. It enables organizations to move faster, innovate more effectively, ultimately become more competitive, making them more relevant to customers and prospects. Smarter insights and automation, that's going to lead to better decision making, improved quality, and greater cost efficiency, all of which again contribute to stronger profitability. And it's not just about customers, so embracing AI also makes your organization more attractive to current and future talent. So obviously people want to work in organizations where innovation is happening. And just some facts here as well. So 78% of SMBs are actively exploring how to become AI enabled. We've got 75% of organizations believe that being in the cloud is a critical foundation for leveraging AI. So let's go and explore, what that journey can look like when it comes to how will your organization, take the next step. Okay, so to truly build a strong foundation and position yourselves to become an AI-enabled organization, there are a few essential sort of building blocks that need to be in place to achieve this. The first is going to be modern IT architecture that's built on cloud principles. That's going to provide you flexibility and scalability. Second is going to be security. This must be more than just a feature. It should be deeply embedded into your organization's DNA. And it won't be just protecting systems, it'll be protecting data, people, and processes as well. The third is going to be data quality. So that's absolutely critical. AI without high quality, well-managed data just doesn't work. So your data estate should be modernized, breaking down those silos and enabling access to empower those decisions. And finally, process transformation is going to be key. So AI isn't just about doing the same things faster. It's about doing things differently. So that means rethinking how work gets done and being open to new, more intelligent ways of operating. So together, those elements are just referred to as the modern business foundation. So this is the essential groundwork that should be done that enables organizations to become AI ready. So let's take a quick look at how your business can stay modern, strong, and resilient. So as more of our work and lives move online, your business depends more on digital infrastructure, data, services, and apps. And to make the most of that, you need to build a solid foundation, one that's going to be secure, compliant, and built to support how your business runs. So let's take a moment to look at your business setup in a straightforward way. So as more of our daily work moves online, your business depends more on the digital tools, the data, and the services. To make sure everything runs smoothly and safely, it's important to have that foundation, which is going to, again, go back to security, compliance, and governance. And it's those three pieces working together that gives your organization that foundation to make sure that you're better prepared, you can adapt and stay competitive and succeed with these transformations. So let's take a fresh look at how your business is set up for success in today's digital world. So again, business resilience, security, compliance, and also cost optimization. So let's talk about something that we all love, legacy systems. And love is probably quite a strong word, but if you're still relying on older platforms, you probably felt the pain of big upfront costs, systems that don't talk to each other, and hardware that scales about as fast as probably a fax machine. And let's not forget that the joy of trying to integrate, new tools and into outdated environments is probably a bit like trying to plug a USB-C cable into a floppy disk drive, for example. The good news is you don't have to flip the table over and completely start again. So modernizing your setup can be a series of smart, manageable steps that lead to a more flexible, secure, and cost-effective business. So shifting to the cloud isn't just sort of a tech upgrade; it's a business upgrade. You're moving from the unpredictable upfront costs to predictable monthly spending. You can scale instantly. You get the resources when you need them. You're not just sort of waiting for when the hardware arrives at your front door. And security is built in, integration's easier than ever. And it gives your IT team the ability to focus on strategy and not just spend all of their time keeping the lights on. Plus, you're laying down the foundations and the groundwork for the AI. Okay, so we've been talking about building a stronger business with the right tech foundation. To reach your goals, whether that's staying resilient, growing faster, or just using AI to your advantage, you need that solid modern technology base. And the best way to build that foundation is start with a platform that brings everything together: data, security, scalability, and integration all into one place. So Microsoft Azure gives you exactly that. So it's a complete platform with those tools and the flexibility to help you modernize your systems and stay secure and prepare your business for what's next. So let's go take a closer look at how it can actually work for you. So let me give some examples of the richness of choice. So your IT may have standardized server and storage hardware, based on a few categories from one or two vendors or suppliers, servers with specific power, memory, or storage capabilities. However, each application or workload may have, unique needs based on its characteristics. Some may require vast amounts of fast memory. Others may need substantial processing power, and some may, have more generic requirements. Not all applications or workloads need their resources all the time, and purchases are often based on maximum capacity needs. So with Microsoft Azure, that offers different types of machine categories that reflect the diverse needs of applications, which will include memory, processing power, storage throughput. And for each category, you can select various configurations of processors, memory, and storage. And these resources, they're instantly available when you need them, providing that flexibility and scalability you probably might not get with your own capabilities or even a third-party hosting provider. So every organization, regardless of size or industry, must be aware of the risks associated with, the cyber attacks and the non-compliance. So whether these regulations are, national or regional, like those at the EU level, or cybersecurity compliance, must be treated as top-level priority, really. And that's not just about meeting your own regulatory obligations. increasingly we're seeing organizations extend their cybersecurity and compliance requirements to their partners and suppliers. So that means that you may have been asked by your customer to meet specific standards or continue doing business with them. So in short, minimizing risk is no longer optional. It's a strategic priority for every business. So let's look at some of the common challenges and how the right cloud platform can help address them. So, built-in security tools, best practice templates and governance tools, and just a broad compliance support framework with there as well. So Azure isn't just secure by design, it's secure by default. One of Microsoft's kind of quotations. So it's built on strong security principles and architecture, and it comes with a full suite of built-in tools that help you strengthen your security posture without adding complexity or cost. So instead of bolting on security after the fact, Azure just bakes it in from the start. So that means less time patching, fewer surprises, more confidence from your IT team that your environment is protected as you grow. Whether you're a small team or a growing enterprise, Azure gives you the tools to stay ahead of the threats while keeping your operations lean and efficient. And security in Azure is not just one thing. It's not like one feature. It covers the relevant disciplines like cloud, network development, confidential computing, and governance. Microsoft Defender for Cloud simplifies security across all of your workloads, manages your security in one place with built-in threat protection that works across your on-premise estates, hybrid, multi-cloud environments. Azure helps you stay protected and in control no matter where your data and apps live. We've got things on the slide that you can see: Microsoft Sentinel, AI-driven security and information events management, or SIEM, which enables the smarter security monitoring powered by AI. You've got Azure Network Security, confidential computing, so protecting your data, securing your data while it's being used, and unlocking shared insights, for your trusted partners. And then Microsoft Purview, we mentioned before, so safeguarding all of your data across platforms, apps, and clouds, with all those comprehensive solutions. And then the last one there is GitHub Advanced Security, so integration with features that secure app code and dependencies of GitHub, so built-in protection for your apps, the code and its components as you host in GitHub. When it comes to managing security more efficiently and effectively, AI is on your side, specifically through Microsoft Security Copilot. So think of it as your personal assistant for cybersecurity. It works across key security disciplines to help your team stay ahead of threats, streamline operations, and respond faster. This is especially valuable for IT teams that are stretched thin, with limited resources that are constantly evolving threat landscape. Keeping up can be quite a challenge. So Security Copilot steps in as a trusted teammate, helping you get more done with greater precision and speed. We've got examples of customers who are opening more operations overseas. They may not have budget to extend their SOC team by significant numbers, so they've been able to leverage things like Security Copilot, which gets that next gen protection assistant, which is really helping them manage that SOC team around the clock, and it's doing it much quicker, the investigations, and providing those insights that they need. Okay, so let's be honest, compliance may not be the most thrilling topic on the agenda, but it's the unsung hero of every secure and successful organization. Think of it as the broccoli of IT, maybe. Not always exciting, but absolutely essential. So ABD is part of the Azure ecosystem, which means it benefits from Azure's robust security and compliance capabilities. Azure supports over 100 global, regional, and industry-specific compliance certifications. So these are things like GDPR, ISO 27001, HIPAA, SOC 1, 2, and 3, and so forth. It's going to give organizations the confidence to meet that regulatory requirements whether national, EU-wide, or perhaps industry-specific. And to make compliance easier, Azure includes built-in tools like Azure Policy, Compliance Manager, which help automate policy enforcement, track compliance status, and simplify some of that reporting. And at the core of this is the strong identity and access management with Azure Active Directory Premium, or Entra ID as it's now called. You're going to get things like conditional access, the MFA, strength, privileged identity management, ensuring only the right people have access to the right source, right resources at the right time. And then for data protection and data loss prevention, we've got services like Azure Information Protection, Defender for Business. They'll help encrypt, monitor, and control, sensitive data across endpoints and those cloud services. All of which actually integrate seamlessly into Microsoft 365 and Azure Virtual Desktop, so that delivers that enterprise-grade protection, in a scalable and cost-effective way. So it's perfect for organizations that want to grow securely and build trust with their customers. Okay, so don't worry, I'm not going to walk you through every detail on this slide. I appreciate there's a lot on there. But what I do want to do is just highlight is that there is an extensive support for compliance and regulatory requirements across many industries and geographies as well. So whether it's national mandates or broader frameworks like those at the EU level, the tools and the capabilities are there, to help you stay aligned. Okay, so as mentioned earlier, Azure offers significant support for IT budgets under pressure, something many businesses are actually facing today. So you may be dealing with capital intensive models, high upfront investments, or legacy systems that make modernization feel out of reach. Add to that a lack of automation, stretched IT teams, rising support and staffing costs, and increasing energy bills. And it's clear that these challenges can, weigh heavily on profitability. Let's go back a slide. So Azure helps, address the pressures through, multiple cost optimization layers. So, flexible pricing models. It's not just about shifting from CapEx to OpEx. There's a range of pricing options that align to your business model, smarter cost management and FinOps tools, system and vendor consolidation, I should say, and seamless, end-to-end support transitions, things like low energy consumption. Azure's infrastructure is designed for efficiency, helping you reduce those energy bills while, supporting your sustainability goals, which we mentioned before as well. And then managing cloud costs starts with smart, flexible pricing strategies. So Azure offers several built-in options to help you stay in control. So we've got things like Azure hybrid benefits, so just reusing your existing licenses to reduce cost. The saving plans for compute, so you can commit to consistent usage and save up to 65%, which is really big. And then Azure reservations, so prepay for resources and you lock in like lower rates if you commit to reserving those instances as well. So those tools are really good for helping cut costs, plan ahead, and manage that cloud budget more effectively. And they're quite essential for any cost-conscious and cloud strategy. So according to a global study by IDC, 80% of SMBs identified managing cloud spend as a top priority. I can say that definitely resonates with some of the customers that I work with. And it makes sense really. So maintaining a solid business operations means knowing where your costs are going. You need visibility and control. The last thing you want is for expenses to quietly grow behind the scenes, without any oversight. So that's where Microsoft Azure steps in, offers that comprehensive cost management capabilities, directly into the platform. There's no need for additional tools or third-party solutions, which is good. And with Azure cost management, you can monitor and forecast and then optimize your cloud spending And then with things like Azure Advisor, you just get like personalized recommendations based on how your organization is currently using those cloud services. So you always get like really helpful little tips and smart decisions on just how to reduce waste or optimize your subscription. And it's all built in, it's free, and you get those insights the moment you activate that subscription as well. So we can take kind of a closer look into some of those if we go on to the next slide. Here we go. So we've got the cost management piece. So that will basically give you tools to plan for, analyze, and reduce your spending just to maximize that investment. So it's an ongoing practice that begins before you basically spend money on cloud resources. And to successfully implement cost management and optimize costs, your business is going to be, it must be prepared with the proper tools for success. Be accountable for the costs and take appropriate action to, optimize that spending. And Azure Advisor, as I touched on before, that's the free built-in service in the Azure portal that acts like a personalized cloud consultant. So it helps you optimize your Azure environment, basically just by analyzing all the resources, the configurations and usage patterns, and then it will offer actionable recommendations across several key areas. So I don't know if you can see on the screen, but we've got costs, so identify ways to reduce spending, security, highlight potential vulnerabilities in your configurations and suggest improvements, reliability, ensuring your critical workloads are going to be resilient and backed by best practice, performance, improving speed and responsiveness of your apps, and then operational excellence. So streamline processes and enforce, governance and standards across the platform. You can use, like I said before, you can use this directly in the portal. It's really easy to get to. And we'll just touch on this briefly, but it might be a surprise that more than 60% of customer compute power globally is now running on Linux-based systems. So a good sign of how central Linux has become to modern IT environments. And Microsoft has embraced this shift by offering, robust support for a wider range of Linux distributions and services within Azure. So that's going to be, all your enterprise-grade security, compatibilities, deployment management, just making it easier for an organization to run Linux workloads confidently in the cloud. Even AI and ChatGPT run on Linux within Azure as well. So it's a powerful example of how open source technologies and cloud infrastructure, come together to support some of the most advanced AI systems in the world that we're using right now. Probably covered on some of those bits as well when it comes to Linux. When it comes to reducing costs associated with Linux-based platforms, some of the most effective strategies is to migrate them to Azure as well. So there are significant benefits of doing so, ranging from lower infrastructure and maintenance costs to improved scalability, security, and performance. Azure offers broad support for a wider range of the distributions, just making it a natural fit for organizations looking to modernize without disrupting their existing workload. And of course, it isn't just for Linux, it's also ideal platform for hosting Windows servers and SQL Server environments. The value goes beyond cost savings. It's about unlocking more efficient IT management and creating a future-ready foundation. Okay, you may not know offhand whether your organization is still running an outdated version of Windows Server or SQL Server, but it's worth checking with your IT team. So versions like 2012 or 2014 have been on the market for over a decade and are now out of support. That means they no longer receive regular security updates. So it's just makes them a significant risk to your business. Microsoft does offer extended security updates for a limited time, but these come at quite a high cost, and they're just usually a temporary fix as well. So there's a smarter path forward, which is migrating these systems to Azure, and this moves not only helps you avoid the costs of the enhanced security updates, but gives you secure, supported environment, as an intermediate step before fully modernizing any apps, for example. And again, let's be honest, no company can run servers or data center more efficiently than Microsoft. Modernizing your IT environment by moving to the cloud isn't just a tech upgrade, it's just a smarter business decision. So you're eliminating the cost of maintaining on-site equipment like servers, storage, backup systems, network gear, and you cut power costs because Microsoft data centers operate, at industry-leading energy efficient levels. The investment that you would need to kind of replicate the kit and the technology would be quite substantial. And obviously, if sustainability is on your radar, then this is a big win. And as Microsoft is investing heavily in sustainable data center practices, also aiming to become carbon negative, water positive, and zero waste by 2030. They're using advanced cooling technologies to reduce power consumption and circular centers to extend the life of hardware components and things. I guess the bottom line is the Azure infrastructure is optimized at scale and efficiency levels that are simply not achievable for most individual organizations, especially SMBs. So you get better performance, lower costs, and a greener footprint, all without the headache of managing and purchasing physical infrastructure. Cool. So there's one more powerful way to optimize costs when moving to Azure. That's using AI to simplify and enhance how you manage your environment. So many of you are already familiar with Microsoft Copilot as a personal assistant for Microsoft 365 users. But Copilot has evolved into something much broader, a platform that spans across the entire organization. So introducing Microsoft Copilot for Azure, your AI-powered assistant for managing cloud infrastructure more effectively and efficiently. So it's basically designed to help IT teams save time, reduce complexity, and improve the quality of operations. So whether it's servicing best practices, automating repetitive or complex tasks, or helping you troubleshoot faster, Copilot for Azure becomes quite a valuable member of the team. We talked before about the Copilot for security really bolstering the SOC team. This is a fantastic tool as well. It's definitely worth exploring. Okay, so if you're using cloud-based services as an organization for your applications, for your data, it's important to build on a trusted platform and operations of these active services. So as a Microsoft partner, Valto, we're at the forefront of enabling European organizations to achieve digital sovereignty, ensuring control over data, infrastructure, and innovation. We've done a lot of migrations for customers to move them onto compliant infrastructure and regions and things. And recent announcements around sovereign cloud initiatives in Europe empower us to deliver solutions that meet the highest standards of data residency, privacy, and regulatory compliance. So we help customers operate securely within their borders by aligning with national and regional frameworks. Its unified data platform plays a pivotal role in this ecosystem by integrating the governance, analytics, and AI across all data estates while respecting sovereignty requirements. Let's go to the next one. So sovereignty and protection of its customers is like top priority and commitment from Microsoft. So over the last couple of years, Microsoft has worked with both customers and authorities to strengthen and refine this approach to build one of the best platforms that can serve to customers' needs, basically. So data sovereignty and protection is a key part of Microsoft's plan to provide data center infrastructure needed for its cloud services, keeping data within European boundaries and under European law. In data center, either in your own home country or neighboring countries. and also having operations, and access to these facilities controlled by Europeans. So Microsoft's platform will provide all the controls for management and enforcing these policies to ensure, those standards are met, basically. We just got a map here of some of the data center regions across the EU and Africa. Again, most of the ones where we're deploying, I guess, is probably like United Kingdom, UK South and UK West, and then probably like North Europe and West Europe as well for those regions. Okay, so moving on. So when we talk about cloud economics, we break it down into two key areas, so technical benefits and financial benefits. And one of the most important things to understand is that cloud consumption is fundamentally different from the traditional on-premise model. In the cloud, you gain elasticity on demand, scalability, so you no longer need to over-provision resources in anticipation of peak demand. Instead, you can scale up or down instantly with built-in availability and strong SLAs to support those operations that require that. And then from a security and compliance standpoint, Microsoft provides robust out-of-the-box solutions that help you maintain a secure and compliant environment without the need for an extensive custom setup just to gain that flexibility. And on the technical side, this flexibility means that you can optimize capacity in real time. So you're not locked into a static infrastructure. You can just adjust your resource usage daily, even hourly, based on actual demand. And that's a major shift from the traditional model of provision for the worst case scenario, which is obviously the most costly. Okay, let's just talk about the financial benefits. The cloud introduces inherent flexibility in how you pay for and manage IT. So instead of large capital expenditures on hardware, you move to, in essence, a pay-as-you-go model. So only paying for what you use and when you use it. And the shift from CapEx to OpEx allows for better cost control and more accurate forecasting, probably faster return on investment. And you also reduce your on-premise data center footprint, which means lower energy costs, fewer maintenance demands. And with cloud-native tools and DevOps practices, your teams can work more efficiently, focusing less on routine infrastructure management and more on that high-value strategic work as well. Okay. In addition to the technical and financial advantages we've discussed, moving to Azure also unlocks strategic business enablement for your organization. So by operating on a modern cloud-based foundation, you become more competitive, leveraging platforms that support faster innovation, better customer experiences, and stronger engagement with prospects. So this isn't just about IT, it's about how your business, shows up in the market. Combining cost optimization with modern platforms and streamlined processes also drives profitability. So you're not just saving money, you're creating the conditions for smarter growth. And let's be honest, who wants to work in a company, running on outdated, clunky systems with limited capabilities? A modern digital environment makes your organization more attractive, to top talent. It improves that employee experience and also, the retention, what we mentioned before as well. And finally, there's the sustainability impact. So Azure's energy efficient infrastructure helps reduce your environmental footprint. But beyond that, modernizing your operations, can lead to smarter, more sustainable business practices. That could be reducing waste, energy consumption, and inefficiencies, across the board. So this isn't just a technology upgrade, it's a business transformation that touches every part of your organization. Okay, so we've already covered why and what. This next part of the presentation on the webinar, we'll be looking at how. So how we can help identify, plan, and prioritize activities to get you AI ready. Okay, so we've got a number of Azure benefits and predefined packages. So to help customers prepare for infrastructure and data modernizations, Valto offer a set of comprehensive packages that include all of the required components to take the necessary steps to build a strong foundation to become an AI-enabled organization. So we'll just talk through some of the things on the screen. So the first piece we've got is the Azure Rapid Assessment. So this is a Microsoft-funded and a partner-led engagement designed to give organizations quick but structured understanding of their current IT environment and what it would take to modernize and migrate that to Azure. So it's often the first step in Microsoft Azure's migration and modernize program, which we'll come on to shortly. This is a key activity that can be covered by Azure AM funding, which is something that Valto is able to secure to help partners conduct these assessments. So in terms of kind of what it includes, it basically goes through a discovery and inventory piece. So we sort of scan servers, applications, database, and workloads, and we can quickly identify dependencies, usage, and costs. And then from there, we're able to quickly identify the cost and return on investment analysis. So we can compare current on-premise spend versus projected like Azure consumption, highlight cost-saving opportunities. So it's something that you can actually take to like a CFO or finance director. It's not too technical. It's a very high-level overview, and it's a piece of information that kind of you can take across the entire C-suite. So it's got good advantages there as well. We'll also assess things like security and compliance reviews, so assess any gaps and risks. Also maybe highlight recommended controls available in Azure as well. And then, of course, the migration roadmap, so prioritizing which workloads we should move first, and things maybe identifying quick wins and also high-value modernization opportunities. And then, of course, AI and innovation readiness. So here we can then go on to sort of highlight where consolidating data and applications in Azure sets the foundation for things like Copilot, machine learning, any other AI solutions that you may be interested in looking at. So that takes us on to Azure Migrate and Modernize. So Azure AM funding, usually referred to as the Activate, Accelerate, and Adopt and Migrate. So it's part of Microsoft's funding investment engine, and Azure Migration and Modernization Program, AM, in practice means that Microsoft provides funding to partners like Valto to basically help customers adopt or migrate workloads to Azure. So it's a Microsoft-funded incentive program that basically helps you reduce the cost of the assessments, the pilots, the proof of concepts, and the actual migration itself into Azure. So Microsoft allocates the funding to different partners, and to its managed partners like Valto. And then customers like yourself, you can access these to offset basically like delivery costs of the Azure projects. So it can be used for the cloud readiness assessment or the rapid assessment that I just described. Those are all fully funded. The customer doesn't have to contribute. And they can go into things like landing zone designs, the migration of the VMs and the databases and the applications, and all of the additional modernization components as well. So, moving from SQL to platform as a service, modernizing applications, moving to things like Azure Virtual Desktop. So all of those components are covered by this funding. Typical amounts, that depends on the customer size and the workload. So Microsoft can account anywhere between $5,000 and $50,000 per year, sort of, and per project. So it can provide credits for large enterprise migrations as well. Then they also kind of pay to the partner for delivering the work as well, the proof of execution. And in terms of why it's important, so this really does lower the customer, the barriers to Azure adoption. So partners like Valto, we can help you move to Azure faster. We can cover things or subsidize like the consultancy and the delivery costs, and also align it to the Azure consumption as well, which is really good. So in short, the Azure AM funding is Microsoft's way of financially supporting partners like Valto to help customers adopt and migrate to Azure. The customer sees a completely reduced project costs to unlock that modernization of AI workplace. Then we just got some other bits and pieces like the Azure credit offer. So if you work with a partner like Valto, we can leverage free proof of concept funding. So if even if you're already in Azure and you're looking to deploy something else, we can secure funding for each sort of resource or service or elements that you build into Azure as well. And of course, it counts for net new projects that you're delivering in Azure. And then we've got the cloud assessments. So this is very similar to the rapid assessment. Again, it kind of looks at different workloads and how we can assess your existing resources, applications, and servers moving to the cloud. I guess the main difference with this is it covers more than just kind of standard on-premise infrastructure. It also looks at other third-party hosting providers as well. If you're looking for a specific key service in Azure, maybe something to do with some of the AI products that offers, and you want to move to Azure from another provider, those cloud assessments also cover that engagement as well. So it's a fully funded assessment that we provide to the customer. And we've got sort of the Azure experts. So our team is built on Azure consultants who are obviously dedicated to helping and navigating the complexities of Azure, AI, and cloud technology. We also have a fully fledged consultative arm where we'll sit down with you, kind of understand your the issues that you're trying to solve, your business requirements, and kind of transpose those into recommendations, estimations. We can provide fixed price costs off the back of things like workshops that we would conduct, where we can kind of assess what you need and then produce a report, a project plan, the fixed prices on the back of that, and also deliver that solution as well in-house for you. So we've got the full range of consultancy right down to support when you're in production. Okay, next, so why work with Valto? So yeah, it's a good question. So we're not just a Microsoft partner delivering technology. We're here as a strategic enabler across your entire Azure AI and modernization journey. As I mentioned before, it's the end-to-end expertise. So we cover every stage of the life cycle, from the initial planning and design through deployment optimization, to ongoing support and the innovation piece as well. So that means you're never left on your own. Whatever stage of the journey that you're at, you've got a partner that can support. And then I guess as well as having a tailored fit. So no two although we've done this many times, no two organizations are the same. So our approach is never one size fits all. We design solutions that fit your current environment, your IT maturity and business, and your business goals, whether that's cloud migration, AI adoption, or just driving the modern workplace modernization. Next, I guess, is the complexity. So, we have in-house expertise around Azure AI projects, involving infrastructure, licensing, security, governance, integration. So that's where our team comes in. We take on that heavy lifting. So your teams and your people can stay, focused on the growth and the transformation piece. And then kind of wrapped around that really is our project governance. So every engagement is structured on a mature delivery framework, which includes the scope management, risk management, communications, and the quality assurance piece. And this just gives you full visibility, confidence, and control at every step of the project, really. And obviously, complete and flexible offering. So our services are comprehensive, but always adaptable. Whether you need an end-to-end program or targeted support in key areas, you'll know that everything you need is covered, without requiring that deep technical knowledge or a large in-house team. Just some bits that resonate with what you can see on the screen, really. So proven Microsoft expertise. So Valto holds multiple Microsoft solutions partner designations across Azure, Modern Work, and BizApps. Some of those are backed by the advanced specializations as well as certifications across our entire engineering and developer team, which I guess just demonstrates the technical depth and delivery excellence. So these are proof that Microsoft recognizes our capability to deliver successful outcomes at scale to our customers, and also demonstrates trusted partner as well. Okay, so we talked a lot about why work with us. So let's just have maybe look at a quick example, a recent example of a customer adopting these very services. So we've got a case study. I won't go into every single detail, but we recently worked with Claremont Hotel Group. So Claremont Hotel Group's one of the UK's leading hospitality companies, so managing 16 hotels across, 3 very distinctive brands. And as a business, Claremont Hotel Group is known for constantly evolving. So that as they continue to grow and evolve, they recognise the need to maybe modernise their IT infrastructure to support long-term scalability and performance. Their existing data warehousing and systems were hosted on by a third party. But the team quickly saw an opportunity to move to Microsoft Azure to make better use of integrated services, enhanced security, solutions like Microsoft Fabric and some of the Azure AI capabilities as well. So there were several key challenges shaped by the project, to ensure a secure and efficient migration of large volumes of data, minimizing downtime across a live hospitality environment. Whilst maintaining that compliance with industry-specific regulations. Valto was engaged to manage the end-to-end migration of some IT infrastructure from a third party, mainly around Microsoft SQL databases, and then also obviously kicking off a project as well to kind of implement that modernization. So the project sort of kicked off with a detailed assessment of the existing architecture, followed by a clear migration strategy, designed to minimize that disruption and maintain the business continuity throughout. And then we worked quite closely with the finance team, so we established a phased project timelines and milestones, and then design the implementation, scalable, secure Azure environment, tailored to the needs of their business. And then we implemented Microsoft Fabric and some AI solutions, basically to calculate sort of profit and commission on hotel bookings. So this was all done by Azure AI document intelligence, understanding invoices and working with suppliers in an automated way. So this was a big piece for their finance team. So it's become sort of a key part of their booking infrastructure, provided faster and more accurate insights for the business. And it's kind of relieved a lot of manual processes from the finance team. So they've kind of clawed back a lot of manual time that they were spent trying to calculate all the commissions and the profits from third-party booking solutions. And now it's all done via Azure AI components hosted in the cloud. The time that it saved, the automation, the accuracy, improved operational performance. But now they've kind of got systems now that are more scalable and easier to manage as well. So it's also led to kind of stronger data protection measures, being able to kind of meet compliance requirements, providing peace of mind for the organization. And obviously the move has created a stronger foundation for like these guest-facing systems, contribute to more consistent and reliable experience for the hotel visitors. They've leveraged like Fabric and Azure AI and document intelligence, to calculate that profit and commissions. The booking teams now unlocked a lot more smarter insights to help like support decision making and revenue optimization. So looking ahead, the hotel group plans to continue refining and optimizing its Azure environment. Okay, so how to kind of get started with all this journey? We'll look at some of the parts of how we would kind of carry this out. So we've got a standardized methodology to support you from the very beginning to even running and operating the new modern business foundation for your organization. So first we get together with your stakeholders to get a deep overview and insight about the status quo and your aspirations and your business needs. So together with your IT team and stakeholders, we can demonstrate proof of the capabilities to help you validate new concepts, and we'll then go on to create a business case for modernization. So based on this, we consider your capabilities. We can create a plan sliced in doable stages, as a foundation for them building the new business foundation step by step. We can use migration tools provided by Microsoft. And then once done, we can help you get started, how to actually operate the platform. And then sort of post that bit, there's probably maybe, opportunities to help you manage that platform and work with your IT team to kind of streamline this and move it forwards. And just looking at some top takeaways. So as we wrap up our session, let's just summarize the key takeaways that we will, help you drive your business forward with confidence. So first one is embracing modernization. So modernizing your IT infrastructure, is not just a technical upgrade, it's a strategic move to future-proof your business. By adopting cloud solutions, you can enhance agility, scalability, and security, and position your organization for long-term success. Back a level. Then we've got leverage AI and data. So obviously AI and data, they're powerful tools that can drive innovation and improve decision making. So by leveraging these technologies, you can gain valuable insights, optimize operations and deliver a better customer experience. Then we've got focus on security compliance. So just ensuring there's a robust security measures and compliance with regulations is crucial for protecting your business, maintaining that customer trust as well. Implementing these advanced security solutions can help you stay ahead of cyber threats and avoid these costly disruptions. Then we talked about optimizing costs, so shifting from big upfront costs to flexible monthly spending can help you manage your budget more effectively. By choosing the right pricing models and scaling resources based on demand, you can reduce costs and improve that profitability. And building a resilient business is essential for navigating constant change. By addressing challenges such as economic pressure, regulatory requirements, and technical debt, you can create a strong foundation that supports growth and innovation. So obviously by focusing on these key areas, you can drive your business forward and stay competitive and achieve those strategic goals as well. So this is obviously about working with you to try and identify joint opportunities for modernization and AI readiness. So obviously working together to identify those opportunities. So the first one is a one-to-one follow-up conversation. So we can schedule follow-up conversations with each of you to gather feedback, address any questions, and discuss specific needs and particular interests that you may have seen in this webinar. If we then go one step further, we can agree on an engagement roadmap. So, we can create a tailored engagement roadmap that outlines the next steps, timelines, and key milestones for your, modernization journey. This is going to evolve into, exploring deeper solutions, workshops, technical validations and pilot projects and co-innovation initiatives as well. That's it. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for attending today. If you do have any questions, you can pop those into the chat, and I'll make sure I'll stick around to answer those for you. And also as well, do get in touch if there's anything from today's session that you want to discuss further.